Oh, well, lads, thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
So, Redfish is a blues band? Would you describe it?
Yeah, blues.
Blues,
mainly.
R&B, sort of that era.
Is it all original music?
No, we do original and covers. We started off doing covers, but as we've moved on, we've kind of developed our own style, really. I suppose.
Yeah, we just recorded our first EP.
That
just
came out recently,
Yeah,
did
just
it?
recently. Yeah,
I
so
saw that, yeah.
I think we are now going into writing our own stuff a bit more now.
Yeah,
I think
That's
that's
good.
where it's at, really.
Natural
for us.
progression, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
Just feel better doing that than endless covers. So
Yeah, you got to sort of at some point you've got to do your own stuff, haven't you?
yeah,
you do.
yeah, and it's fun. It's good fun to do.
It's fun.
So where did the name come from?
Rod.
It actually came from a New Orleans cookbook.
Okay.
Martin and I have played together for about 8 years now,
Yeah.
7 or 8 years, and we were in a band called the Deluxe, and that came to a sort of natural end. And Martin and I had formed a partnership in terms of the music and so on. So I was quite clear I wanted to carry on in some shape or form. I quite like that kind of New Orleans vibe, yeah, and opened a cookbook basically, and
There it was.
Yeah. I thought, no, I quite like that. Yeah.
Was there any other potential? Or was that it?
I can't remember. There was a lot of very childish
Mostly
stuff
stylish
going
things,
on.
Or it gets to the point where it's like, if you can't think of anything better, then
Yeah, it's
we'll
just
go with that.
that.
Yeah, and I just said, well, I quite like this. It kind of captures. It has something about it. Put it to the guys, and that.
Did you Google it? See if
there
there's
was
any others?
nothing,
Yeah, there is another red. Yeah,
I thought I Googled it as well.
Yeah, there is, definitely is.
Were they first?
Possibly.
Couldn't say.
There's also a Redfish about fishing page on
There
on
is.
the
Of
internet.
course,
Yeah,
of
about
course,
Redfish.
that's
So I
me.
did.
Yeah.
I saw that as well.
yes,
You know.
there's a lot of actual fish.
Yeah. No, you guys weren't on my radar until a mutual friend of ours, David Morgan,
Oh yes.
photographer. He's the one that
Yeah.
sent
Yes.
me a link to you guys.
Yes,
Said you
yeah,
should
of
get
course.
these guys on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
David's been a loyal biographer, I suppose you'd call him.
So when the biography comes out, he'll be doing it.
He's been. We set up these blue jams in Carlisle.
Right. Yeah.
which-
This is what you mentioned.
Yeah, which have really taken off.
At the old fire station.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are booked through right until the end of next year at the moment.
So if people don't know what it is, explain to someone what exactly.
Well,
you
the
do.
blues jam is basically Redfish on a Sunday afternoon. Once a month, we host 3 hours of music.
Yeah, we play an hour set, and then we get people to come up and play
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah,
And it's been really popular. It's been
That's
packed
cool.
out every
Yeah,
time.
that's what he was saying.
It's
Yeah.
been packed on a Sunday afternoon.
it was a
Yeah,
bit of a.
It's
It was a
bizarre.
well, yeah, it was a kind of leap of faith, really. I discussed it with the people that run the old fire station, and suggested a kind of self-sustaining kind of business model, if you like.
Mm.
And of course, you've got that kind of fingers crossed moment, the first one, but it was full, and more and more guests come, musicians come. Entries free for musicians. They come along, and we do.
So if you're going to get up, you get in for free.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
If you play for free. You can
Correct.
get it for free.
And it's a fiver for everybody else, which everyone can
It's
afford.
not bad, is it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. You get
3 hours.
3 hours fun and games.
It's a good,
and
nice afternoon. It's a great venue. It's an amazing
I
venue.
was going to say, like, it doesn't sound like it would be. Like the old fire station just sounds
No.
like, someone's turned a fire station a venue. But I've been a few times, and it's a proper venue,
It is,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's really good.
Big PA system. We've got a really good sound guy, Eden, who does the sound, and it's a big job for him because there's so much to do and
Yeah.
a jam, people getting up, and but he's been amazing, hasn't he?
I've started
He's really
mentioning that when someone says, "Where's good to play around here?" It's like,
Yeah.
the Brickyard, there's Club Rock,
Yeah.
there's the venue. We
Mhm.
did that one, and then now I
Yeah.
say the old fire station. Or I
Mm.
call it should be called. We should just call it the OFS. I think. it's
Oh,
the
OFS,
better.
yeah.
it's called, yeah.
That's what they. That's
Coming in
what
town on Saturday night,
Yeah.
playing the OFS, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it has really taken off, and we joke that it's like blues in the community, isn't it? Where like-minded blues people can get together and meet other blues people and play and
So does it
talk.
ever deviate from blues though? Do people get
There's
to play
all-
any
yeah,
other
there's-
stuff?
people can play whatever they want. Really, they just tell us. Our job is to try and know everything they want to ask us to play.
So you like the house
beforehand.
band?
Yeah, we're like the house band, so
Yeah.
we have to sort of get.
But if a bass player comes up, then does the bass player have to leave?
Yeah, I mean,
depends on who
we
wants to get up. Yeah,
depends if the yeah, exactly. I mean, there's one or two bass players come, and
there has to be an
hand
element
over
of
to them.
organisation in a
Yeah, I was
blues
gonna
jam,
say.
otherwise it can go badly wrong.
Yeah. But I think that's the concept. That's
But,
probably why it's full,
yeah.
because it's sound. Where else
Yeah.
does that?
We
Where
have
else
to-
can you get that from?
There is some discipline needed, isn't there?
There is. a
But
bit,
is there alcohol involved as well? So
Yeah, usually. yeah.
definitely
yeah.
discipline needed.
we have to remain strictly sober to retain some sort of sense of control.
Yeah, because it can go out of hand, but they're really well managed, and I think that's the key.
They are.
with the blues jam.
In particular, Eden Dunn, the sound guy, is amazing because
What's his name?
Eden Dunn.
Eden Dunn.
Mm.
Right. Okay.
He, he's so flexible because you've got people just arrive. Being musicians, they arrive in all sorts of disarray, with and without leads and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Eden just accommodates them, and he never loses his temper or anything.
No.
Well, it takes a lot of doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you get some really surprising people getting up that you think, well, this guy, mostly from Carlisle, that have never played on stage before, and they're
Yeah.
actually very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
good
good place for
experience.
someone to
Yeah.
try it.
It
Yeah.
is. It's about the experience of doing it, and
They can have a few beers, get past the nerves,
Yeah.
and then just go up and do it.
And they're doing it in a professional setting.
Exactly. I think that's probably the part of the appeal why you get a
Yeah.
lot of people because they're interested in it. Even just word
Yeah.
of mouth. Someone explains that to you. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Even if you don't want to play, you could just go and want to watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a regular cohort of fans, haven't we? That
Yeah.
we've kind of reinvented a good live music scene for them.
Mm,
you know.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
David was saying. I mean, you sent me a really long message
Yeah.
explaining the whole thing and saying
Yeah,
that I should
yeah.
get you guys
Yeah.
on, and I looked it up and it was like fantastic.
Yeah, well, Dave's again been hugely supportive, and he's captured. He's built a whole kind of body of work around it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's put together a hardback book and all sorts of stuff.
Has he?
Yeah, I should have.
See,
brought it.
this is the other thing. I've been for
Yeah.
like about a year. I've been on it to come on here because
Yeah.
I think he's a bit shy. I don't know. 'cause-
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he's not a.
But when I speak to him at
Yeah.
gigs, he's been to our gigs. He's photographed us loads of times. But
Yeah,
his photographs are fantastic. But I
They
always
are.
have really good conversation with him.
they
So
are.
obviously, it's quite short, but that's why I wanted to get him on here because we
Yeah.
could probably talk for ages.
See, I think that's another thing why it's a success, because we get people like him that take photographs of the night, and
Yeah.
people, and then he puts them onto social media.
Mm.
And they're fantastic,
And
aren't
the
they?
pictures are professional pictures,
Mm.
aren't they, of people
They are.
performing, and I think that's been another element to it, because
You get people going who wouldn't normally get
Yeah.
to play on the professional
yeah,
setup and
they
then get
a-
really
they
good
get a
photos
nice
of it.
photo
We're like,
and
wow.
It's just another element of it that's
Yeah.
quite nice,
Yeah.
and it's a creative thing as well. Photography is a creative thing, isn't it? So-
Very much so. I mean, they're not just pictures; they're studies really of musicians.
Well, even for him, that's not even what he does. The musician, he does like scenery and
Yeah.
yeah,
some
Yeah.
of the stuff on his page is amazing.
yeah.
Yeah,
But like, obviously, this is called Behind the Noise, and it's meant to be a music industry podcast. But
Mm.
I'd get anyone on who's interested.
yeah.
Like, and
That
he's-
creative
yeah,
arts,
he's someone who I'd want to get on.
Yeah.
So if you can have a word with him, try and persuade him to come on.
yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. We'll see him soon. The blues jams start again on the 14th of October.
All right, so is it been on a break?
Yeah,
summer.
we've got a
Summer
summer
break,
break.
Because everyone goes on holiday and stuff, don't
Yeah,
they?
they
So
do.
it's
They
like,
do. Summer break. So
we'll put a link to the old fire station and that on the,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the,
no,
show
cool,
notes
yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's the new season, as it were, starts.
The
Starts
madness
next month.
begins again.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Whose
yeah.
idea was it this? Where did this come from? How did it come to be?
Well, it was they already the old fire station is run on a daily basis by a guy called John Stewart, who runs the associated Cafe Bistro, McGrew's Bistro.
Yeah.
And John, together with people like Ros Sluman, already ran a jazz jam, similar format, not exactly the same, but similar. And he and I were talking over a drink, I think it was, and he said, I've been thinking about doing something similar with the blues stuff, because he obviously knew that I was into it and the band and everything. And he said, I propose this is the way we do it, and he went into the kind of detail about how it finance itself, because obviously people need to get paid.
Yeah.
The bar staff, the bar obviously makes reasonable amount of money and so on. Eden needs to get paid, and so on and so forth. So I said, well, that looks like a reasonable thing, and then we settled on a $5 for the people, the guests that come along, and we said musicians should be free because they sing for their supper.
And they're providing the entertainment.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So it was really John and I that kind of cobbled it together, and then as I say, I've been kind of amazed really by the success.
Mm.
When did it start?
It started. It'll been about a year ago, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was late summer, autumn
That's good.
last year.
See, Rod's the businessman.
Well, I wouldn't go that
You
far,
know,
but
but
uh,
he's the one that organises
try.
everything. Because musicians are notoriously rubbish
I
at doing
try to-
anything to do with
yeah.
They just want to
promotion.
show up and play, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. I just want to turn up and play.
Well,
mate.
that's another thing that would add to it. If all that's taken care of,
Yeah.
and you just have to show up and play.
it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
So would you consider having other bands join, maybe?
We've-
If you
we've
did an
had-
hour and then have another band
We've
play
had
something.
bands
and
on
then-
before, haven't we?
We've had what I would call other bands stand up.
Bands start to come out of the woodwork and start to come.
Yeah.
We had some. Who were the older guys were playing?
Yes.
Um,
Frank Beattie and
Frank Beattie and
and
his
Paul
band
Mc-
played a few numbers.
Paul
and,
McLaughlin, people like that. yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to get more bands on
Mm.
because then it takes the pressure off us a little
Mm.
bit. And then
It's,
other
the
people
whole
can play.
thing's very much going back to grassroots stuff, isn't it? And getting
Mm.
people just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
inspired to play, because obviously
It is.
that seems to be on a bit of a decline at the moment. Trying to
Yeah.
get people to
Live,
actually
playing live,
line,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
not X Factor bollocks, but
Yeah,
Quite. And the beauty of the blues genre is it is very much about improvisation and
Make it up as you go. You
within
know,
a structure, you know.
is it usually booked for anything else other Sundays? Or is it usually available?
I think I think part of the attraction was the Sunday tends to be an available day for them. So it's Carlisle City Council, and again they've been extremely supportive. Who own the venue,
Mm.
and that they're pleased to have the place used.
I was going to say, because you could maybe open it up to other nights. So like, what another Sunday could be like a rock night, or you could have
Yeah,
like an
yeah,
acoustic night, a
yeah.
folk night, or anything.
It's just music, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's just
Yeah.
getting people playing music, and it's
Yeah.
That's been
Because obviously, if you label it as a certain type of music, some people blues. I'm not really into blues, but
Yeah.
if they saw a rock night, I'll go
Yeah,
to that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Just if
Yeah.
you had it off the full range,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could open it up.
Yeah. Well, as I say, the concept works. You know.
It does. So it
Um,
could be applied to any genre, really.
Yeah,
couldn't it?
yeah. Because like I said, the jazz one as well. That's worked, hasn't it? And
Yeah.
fusion
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's been a
Yeah.
success.
And it
It's
all
been a
pays for
success.
itself. That's the point.
Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, so otherwise it has like a restaurant sort of cafe type thing.
Yeah.
Was that open like during the days and
Yeah.
stuff? People going to
Yeah,
see?
yeah. The restaurant
That's all part of it, then, isn't it?
bistro, I suppose I would call it. It's a sort of cafe bar, but it's smart. You know,
Mm, it's nice, yeah.
high quality food and drink, and nice staff, and so on and so.
And as well as what you guys do, and that there's quite a lot of good bands play there as
There
well.
is,
I
yeah,
think,
some
like
good bands there. Yeah.
Getting working their way up
It's
the
a nice
roster of
venue.
level of bands as
Yeah.
it gets itself on the map as a place.
Yeah.
If someone was on tour to play, what can it hold? What, do you know how many people can it hold?
Capacity's in the hundreds.
A couple of hundred, you reckon?
Yeah, at least.
Because I think the Brickyard's 350 to push.
Yeah, it'll be. I think it depends. There are I'm not an expert in this, but there are various formulae about how many seated, how many standing, all, you know, and so on.
Is there much seated? When
the way they set it out is kind of what does he call it? Kind of cabaret style. You know, so you've got tables,
right?
you've got tables and chairs, but you need to get early. You need to get early now to get a seat, don't you?
Well, that's a good sign.
The matinee gigs.
That's a good place to be.
We get used to do matinee gigs where we finish at 7 o'clock, and then we have to play gigs that
We
we finish at midnight, and it's like, ooh.
We've had two weekends, the last couple of weekends of late nights, Martin, and it's we're a bit old for that now, aren't we?
Well,
But
it's having a job, isn't it? That's having a proper job.
so have you guys been playing any other places recently? Been on tour or?
Well, last week we were at Dumfries and Carlisle, and then the week before that we were where were we?
In Carlisle, at the Crown in Stanix.
Aye, but the weekend before that,
Edinburgh.
We were in Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah, so we've just kind of
That's right.
we've taken that concept, the blues jam, up into Edinburgh.
Ah, okay.
So
Whereabouts do you do it in Edinburgh?
Well, it's a concept called the Sunday service. It's not dissimilar to what we've fixed up in Carlisle,
Mm.
at a place called Harry's Bar, which is in the West End.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, they're at Randolph Place.
Mm.
And again, it's similar. And the last one we did a couple of weeks ago was on Sunday, obviously. We'd a lot of people came and joined us. Then that was
It's the
interesting.
second one we've done up there, so
Yeah.
it's kind of.
So how did you approach them about? How did you sell it to them? The prospect of them.
Well, we didn't need to. It's I mean through mutual friends and so on. We said
Ah, right.
we know that you do this kind of stuff. Do you want to come and do it here? So that's what it was. So we've
So you were invited to do it up there?
Yeah.
Ah, that's cool.
and again we've just sorted some bookings for next year up there again. So we'll be back in February, I think it is.
How did it go then?
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
Good. You get some really good moments and some very strange moments, as you can imagine.
As is life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's part of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
The
all part of the fun.
randomness.
Yeah,
The thing is, you need to adopt a certain mental approach to the whole thing and take everything in your stride. Yeah,
but it's
Yeah.
all good fun. That's
it's
the
just
thing.
good fun.
It is good.
You've got to remember why you're doing it. haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, it's good.
It's fun at the end of the day. But so how long has Redfish been going?
I don't know. What was it? 3 years
3
now?
years, about 3 years.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
We've kind of we had the same lineup all the time, haven't we?
Mm,
We've
mm.
You had the
stuck
same
with
lineup for 3
lineup,
years?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's rare these
So-
days.
Well, one of the things I'm always kind of amazed about is that we all actually get on together. You know what I mean?
Mm.
One of these is Penrith, Carlisle,
I'm Carlisle,
and Dumfries.
and then 3 Dumfries. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, but we all get on as friends, which is actually is actually quite unique in my experience.
Mm.
I don't think we ever really have any moments, do we?
It's
No.
just about we just like playing together.
Yeah.
It's the music,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's
just
easy-
all
It's probably
what's
the
important.
easiest band I've ever played in, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, it
easy-
helps,
easy
doesn't
band
it?
to
Yeah,
play
it
in,
helps
yeah.
if you've got a bit of camaraderie and stuff.
Yeah.
You do.
Like,
You
makes
do.
travel a bit better if you just have a laugh.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
all good. It's good fun. The music's great. And
How many's in the band?
It all just clicks. 5.
It's fine.
Five, yeah.
Who are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other guys? Give
So,
them a shout out.
Yeah, Brian Stumblin Harris is the lead singer, Stumblin Harris, and then we've got Fraser Clark on keys, Sandy Sweetman on drums, myself on bass, and Martin on guitar. Mm.
So have you always played bass, or do you play guitar as well?
Well, I played a wee bit guitar decades ago, but bass is my main thing.
What
always.
got you into bass, or who got you into bass?
Strangely enough, the first bass I ever owned was as a result of my bicycle getting stolen, and my dad said that we've got some insurance money for your bicycle, and I dabbled with electric guitar, reached a certain level, but my heart really wasn't quite in it. I thought, well, I quite like the look of the bass. We'll try that, and then that was it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
How old were you then when you started playing?
16, something like that, 17.
How old were you when you started playing?
11 started playing the guitar.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the same.
11 and just taught myself to
Yeah.
play. Just sat
Yeah.
down and listened to AC/DC when I was young.
Yeah.
And,
AC/DC is like, it's a lot. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah.
It's not to get it right, because it's very tight, isn't it? The rhythm, especially the rhythm
It
playing.
was the Jack by AC/DC. That was
The
the
Jack.
first thing I ever learned on the guitar. Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
little 12-bar thing going on. It was cool.
Yeah.
I was listening to AC/DC the other day, actually.
Yeah.
They're one of the best bands live ever.
Mm.
Yeah,
To the point where it came on in the car, and it took me halfway through a song to realise that it was live.
yeah.
Right.
It was that. Obviously, the
Yeah.
production's really good, but just they're playing, it's so
Yes.
tight, and it's
Yes.
just like,
What era was it you were listening to? Was it the early?
I think it was 1990.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't remember where it was, like Buenos Aires or something. It's on Spotify. It was just a live album came
yeah.
out. I was just like, wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And
I was hugely influenced by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards,
Mm.
Tony Thompson. Those 3 particular musicians, when they put Chic together and all the derivatives thereof,
Yeah.
just from the point of Nile Rodgers is a really interesting guy to listen to talk. The way he thinks and the way he
Mm.
puts stuff together.
Mhm.
And of course, it's R&B basically. The D morphed into the disco.
But the original
phenomenon.
term of R&B, rhythm
Yeah.
and blues, not like it. It's kind of
No,
changed.
yeah,
morphed
not like
it,
the
hasn't it?
modern. No, not
No.
the modern
No.
one. But
But that's what those guys did. They played
Yeah.
gig after gig in those settings, and honed that rhythmic
But
style.
it was kind of new back then, though, wasn't it?
Mm.
It was like no one really done that before.
Mm.
Whereas that's not the case anymore. No one does anything anymore that hasn't been done before.
no, that's
No.
true.
There's
True.
no like breakthrough genres where it's like well, I've said it before. Only the last one's probably like new metal, early
Mm.
2000s, like Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit and Korn and all that. But since then, there hasn't really been
Yeah,
nothing that's gone mainstream
No.
anyway.
which is why in a way, the thing I like about the Redfish stuff is, you'll have heard Martin pottering about before with the slide guitar. It's like taking stuff back to real old
Mm. I'm
vintage
kind of interested in doing
stuff.
that kind of slide stuff. But at home, what I do is I get loops and play with loops
Yeah,
Mm.
and just
yeah.
change the beat, and it
Yeah.
just puts it in a whole different musical place.
It helps
Mm.
you come up with something a bit different,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's
That's why I like the Black Keys, because the Black Keys did that. They were just a blues band, but they didn't play shuffles.
Yeah.
They played
Mixed it
like
up.
hip hop kind
Yeah.
of break beats, and
Yeah.
that just opened it up to a whole new audience of kids who were listening to the Black Keys.
I think that's what you've got to do these days, is like take a bit of that and add it with a bit of that.
And the rhythm's key, isn't it? Having the rhythm. The rhythms,
Yeah,
it's all
definitely.
about
Yeah.
the rhythm, isn't it?
Well, some bands their signature is like off time signatures or key changes and all sorts of just mix it up. But so how does the songwriting go for you guys then? Who's the main songwriter or writers?
Well, we did our last album we did. It was just how did we write? I can't remember how we wrote the songs.
It just came out. It just
Well, different people just arrive with bits, don't they?
Bits of ideas,
You know,
and
Fraser's good at that. Fraser's classically trained. He's a great arranger as well. You know, the keyboard
always
guy.
helps.
he's a phenomenal player. Fraser, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think as long as you need one person like that for that element of it.
Yeah. If you look at any of our stuff, there's a whole plethora of stuff on YouTube and now that you'll see he's a real eccentric character. You know.
You should see him play. He's mesmerising.
Yeah, I
to
saw some
watch.
videos. Yeah, he's really good. Does the singer write the lyrics?
Yes.
He'll do it, and I come with guitar riffs and stuff, and I record a lot of stuff at home these days. I sort of got my own studio at home.
So how do songs come together then usually?
Playing grooves, really, isn't it?
Yeah, just jam. I like to
Just
jam.
get in the same
jamming,
room.
Yeah,
Jamming.
and jam.
Yeah. And then, you know, Brian will be very quick to come up with...
Just organically, you know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Organic, that's how they should be.
Brian will come up with lyrics dead quick and go, I've already got some stuff in my head. Or he'll just make some stuff up as he goes, you know, and it kind of works, and then he'll refine it.
Yeah,
that
works.
Yeah. And then Sandy and I'll work on something kind of funky, I suppose, to try and provide that kind of platform for it all.
It's hard to explain, is how it just happens.
It's different for everybody as well.
You know,
some setup that with one band would not work for another band at all. Like we had the Sun Explodes, the Carlisle band on, and they were saying that they always record separately.
Right.
Like they wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for them to go like do what we did and go to a proper professional studio and like where you've got a producer pushing you and you've got click track and so you've got to go do this, do that. That they just wouldn't work for them. They have to do. They each go away and do their separate things, and they put it all. They just put it all together later.
Yeah.
But it's just that it wouldn't be them without that where they did that. So.
Well, our EP that we released, the one Martin spoke about.
What's
earlier,
it called?
It's called 5 by 5.
5 by 5.
It's five songs in EP.
Yeah.
5
songs by 5 guys.
Yeah,
indeed.
Clever, isn't it?
That's the
I
one.
like it. I
It's
like
a clever
it.
title, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, that was all recorded together, live in inverted commas, in the studio.
Yeah.
Because for us, it's all about the moment. It's all about
Capturing a live sort of vibe.
very much so. It's all about the performance. It's all about the eye contact and everything.
I think that's what most people would want, really.
Yeah.
There's
The
different
energy,
ways
yeah.
to get that,
Yeah.
but you'd
Yeah.
want
Just
that.
capturing the energy, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah.
Because
you
most
do.
bands live and die by what they do live.
Yeah.
So your best way to do what you want to do is capture that on a recording.
Yeah.
So however you can make it happen, make it happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
So was it enjoyable process?
It's very.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
How long do you think it took?
It took us literally a day to record it, and it was we could if we had more money, we would have spent we could spend days in there, and we got loads.
Where did you go? Where did you do it at?
Circus 16 in Dumfries. Again, a very talented young engineer producer
Was that like a full studio?
called Dave Miller.
Yeah. It was
Even drums?
drums
as well, yeah.
Just a live room, and
Cool.
it was good.
Yeah, but he's a great engineer, Dave, and he kind of knows what we want.
Yeah.
You know, and then he. I mean, the quality of that slow one, you know, the Accustomed to Darkness is just amazing. You know.
Yeah, it is. It's just live, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. it's good.
So you were happy with the result? Very happy with the results?
Very much so. Yeah.
Is that probably the best recording of anything you've done? You've heard?
the
Would
best?
you say?
It's the best recording I've ever done.
Yeah. It was at a moment in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we've
And
done that,
and it's gone,
then I see is now that's done. Move on. It's the next thing now.
You're right.
It captures that moment in time.
there's
doesn't
a
it?
lot in that because when you listen to it again now, you think, oh, I wouldn't have done that now, you know.
But that's not. But that's natural, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you just do it, it's done, and just put it out.
Yeah.
do-
and then you
Do
move
some
on
gigs to promote it, and then you move on to the
Yeah.
next.
You
the next.
do. That's
But you don't really get a chance to analyze it until 6 months, a year later.
No.
You listen to songs and you go, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't really listen to it anyhow. So it's done now. Move on.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
That's what I like.
the only reason I used to do it after a while is because people, especially when it comes out, people always you do interviews, people ask you,
Yeah.
so you have to kind of like.
Yeah.
It's hard because you've got to like go and analyze what you've just done, but
Yeah.
you're kind of done with it, so it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But you're
You're
gonna have to. People are gonna ask you questions. You're gonna have to. What's it about? How did it come to be? You need to sort of.
But you need to move on, don't you?
Really, you'd want those interviews a year later. Ask me in a
Yes.
year, and then I'll be able to tell you
Yeah.
exactly what it's about.
Yeah.
The other thing is, did you play those songs much live before you recorded them?
Yeah, we did.
We
We played them prior to that. I think because we did quite a few gigs before the recording, didn't we? And then we went in and recorded it.
I
So
think
we were sharp.
that's a good idea. Because
we find our band, the more gigs we do, one after another, the better. The standard just gets better and better.
I also think sometimes you refine the songs and you might make the odd change. Sometimes you accidentally, that sounded good, I might do that instead. Because if you just write something and then go and co-record it straight away, then you start playing it live, you go, this sounds better this way.
It's just a process, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're already looking forward to the next recording?
We need to do a full album, really.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask,
some ideas together now,
so that's what we're kind of working to now.
Do you do it in the same place?
Yeah, I would.
Was it mixed and mastered there?
Yeah, he did it all there, yeah. It's good.
It was very quick. Very quick.
That's good. Because, I mean, that EP got 5 songs on it?
5 songs, yeah.
So you want like an album of like 10, say?
Yeah, we need a proper album now,
Yeah.
People say that album's dead, though. No one consumes albums as a whole anymore.
Well, with the first time you put it on, we've got it on Spotify, and you can buy it online now, and that seems to be the
yes, you can buy.
You can buy, but you just buy per track.
Yeah, people can just listen to it online now. If you could
this is the thing about the playlist. If one of your songs gets on a playlist, then that's the song people. I'm going to buy that.
Yeah.
Click buy.
Yeah.
They might never, or they might for a while not even check out the rest of your catalogue. They'll just, I like that song. Move on.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to accept that. That's just the way it is.
You're right. Listening has changed.
And you get like 0.001 pence per stream.
I think it's slightly more than that now.
Is it?
It's gone up slightly. It needs to go up a lot more.
Yeah.
Because obviously the album sale is gone, but nothing's really replaced it yet.
Yeah. No,
streaming could be that.
It's interesting though. I've found obviously, youngsters, if you like, if I'm call them that, do exactly that, and the CDs are a bit of an anathema to them. But I find a lot of the people that we're working with and mixing with and so on, they say, I like a CD in my hand. That's what they say.
There's definitely still an audience for that.
We do sell quite a lot of gigs actually, so they'll be quite
so
good
do we.
to sell.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to make money.
I just think over time that's gradually going to change. I think.
Yeah. You can buy them on our online shop now as well. We've got our full range of merchandise.
Where is it? What's the address?
www.redfishband.co.uk.
Right.
I was quite impressed.
We'll put a link to that in the show notes.
I was amazed what Sandy, the drummer, put together with the website. And you can buy stuff.
I think it's quite important as well.
We've sold T-shirts. We've sold T-shirts in Canada and all over.
Yeah.
But there's some great designs. Again, Neil Patterson, if I can give him a plug. Neil Patterson's graphic designer from Dumfries, and again I showed the stuff on the business cards there and so on. He came up with all of that. We've got that on the T-shirt.
On the camera tech.
Yeah. And again, he just knew what we liked and went for it. And we've got 2 great designs. Yeah.
So what about the artwork for the album, the EP?
That was Neil Patterson as well. Yeah, he did the whole.
So did you give him music, or did you just tell him what you wanted and he just did it, or?
Well, I've been working on and off with Neil for a number of years now, and said use the kind of themes that you've been using for the posters, and because he's done a lot of stuff for us. And then he came up with the color scheme and everything.
And the skeleton and
it's good.
That idea was quite good, quite cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw online people with your T-shirts on and stuff, sending pictures in.
Yeah, I've got an old pal who's touring Europe at the moment, and
representing.
Absolutely, and the T-shirts appearing in the French Alps and all sorts of places. Yeah.
But so back to the old fire station. Then have you done, apart from the Sunday thing, have you done actual gigs of your own, or like separately?
Yeah, we did. Who did we support? It was
Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we did a support for them, and that kind of opened a few doors for us. As a band.
That's right.
Have you played the Brickyard?
No.
With this band, with Deluxe, we think we played there, didn't we?
Maybe we did.
I've been there for a long time.
I love the Brickyard.
Yeah.
Is it still who runs it? The Brickyard now?
It's Nick Hewell, and it's still the same Andy Bartlett.
And the front page isn't there anymore, is it? Is that gone now?
What do you mean?
The front, the bit below it, next door.
I don't know.
The cellar. There was like a cellar place.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Called the front page.
I'm not sure.
What, that was part of the Brickyard?
It was next to the next door. I think it's a cafe now, is it, or something?
Maybe it is.
I
think a couple of years ago the Brickyard upgraded all their PA and their lights and everything.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic now.
Yeah.
I think Skindred are playing there in a couple of months. we sold out. So they're putting more and more gigs on that sell out as well.
Yeah.
The other thing they do is like the silent disco.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I was at Kendall Calling as well, and they had a silent stage as well. So everyone's wearing headphones, listening to music, dancing around. You imagine the staff like clearing the tables. Like, all you can hear is like shuffling feet around. It's like weird concept, but it's busy every time they do it. I think they do one a month or one every other week, and it's always rammed. It's just like
I love that idea.
I don't know who came up with that idea, but I've never actually experienced it. I've been there, and like seen other people experiencing it. It's like it's a bit of a head scratcher, but people like it. So I don't quite know if they're sort of, if everyone's listening to the same thing or you just listen to whatever you want to listen to. I don't know how it works, but
I need to go and try this.
I've been tempted to try it. But the Brickyard also do like Motown and Soul Nights
they do a lot of
once
stuff
a month,
like that,
and they're always really well attended.
They do a lot of stuff.
Like in Cumbria, there aren't many places to experience things like that.
Yeah.
And they do lots of tribute bands as well.
They
Obviously, all venues have to do tribute bands, it seems to.
There's a real thing with that now, isn't there?
There is.
There's a whole festival around tribute bands.
Yeah. Wanna See Festival. The complete festival's all tributes.
Yeah.
I went to it a couple of years ago. They had Michael Jackson headline in it, which was amazing. I really like bands or tribute things of artists who are no longer going. It's a bit weird when there's a tribute to someone who's still current.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
But they had a Green Day one on, and they added a member. There was 4 of them. One of the most renowned trios, and there was 4 of them. I was like, "What are you doing? You can't add a member." So I was like, I'm done.
I don't know how I feel about tribute.
I know what you mean.
They have a purpose. But like if the band's no longer going, that's the best you're gonna get. If you find a really good tribute band who's no longer going,
you've probably never seen them. It's a good,
you might never got to see them. That's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But it is weird of like people cashing in on people artists who are still going.
Yeah.
That's odd.
It is odd. Yeah.
So what kind of material do you guys cover?
BB King stuff. We like BB King and all the traditional blues stuff.
Cool.
Albert King,
Freddie King,
all the Kings.
Get the Kings out.
Fleetwood Mac. The early
Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac.
That original Fleetwood Mac.
Shaky Money Maker.
Yeah,
all that
played
stuff.
that a long time.
I love that. It's brilliant.
So the kind of the Texas, I like the Texas blues stuff. Stevie Ray Vaughan's
Fabulous Thunderbirds. The Vaughan brothers, Jimmy and Stevie Ray. So
how long were you going before you started whacking in the odd of the original song in? How long did it take in your 3 years?
With this band? Probably a couple of years maybe. We just sort of gelled as a band, and then we thought we need to do our own. I'd rather play our own stuff any day.
Yeah, you know some bands have done that where they've like slipped their own in but not told anyone. Just played it and see how it went down.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is that we do tend to make the covers.
Yeah, the thing about blues is you kind of make your own anyway.
Yeah, you don't just need a replica, are you?
No.
You take the elements of songs and.
What's the point of doing it otherwise?
You know.
Yeah. So it's like the antithesis of a tribute in that sense. You're not actually trying to copy anything.
You're trying to do it. It's different interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which people like.
And different. And of course, the arrangements are different because, I mean, we don't have while we have harp players join us at the blues jams, we don't have a harp player.
Yeah.
So we do Sonny Boy Williamson's a few of his stuff without a harp.
Yeah.
So the arrangements are different anyway. The keys and so on.
There's lots of improvisation in our band, and we kind of,
Well, that plays well. That plays in well with your monthly event.
Yeah.
Have you had some funny moments or strange things?
Yeah.
Are
we allowed to say what's happened? We don't offend anybody.
You don't have to mention any names.
Well, we had a really singular experience in Edinburgh, didn't we? When a guy approached me and said he wanted to do this particular Joe Cocker song.
And this was like a minute before we were going to do it. So it was like, this Joe Cocker song.
So I said, yeah, okay, I can quickly figure out the chords, spoke to the guys, and started. The drummer did a big kind of drum rolly type introductory phrase, and then and then our friend just started singing nursery rhymes.
What?
Twinkle, twinkle, little
star.
star.
So not Joe Cocker.
No, Twinkle, twinkle, little star. But you were right on it, though. You were right.
Well, you see, I just went with it, and
I was just looking at the drums. What's going on?
I very confidently just introduced my own interpretation.
I thought you'd been practicing.
Yeah,
you were that good.
So did you actually start playing the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star?
I was just thinking, what's going on? What is going on?
Well, I just put a kind of standard 12-bar type thing behind it, you see.
And
but I did it with such confidence.
You pulled it off.
You suspect
really pulled it off.
You suspected we'd met before
and rehearsed the week before.
Is this a setup?
So there was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and there was what else? There was like segueing into the next nursery rhyme and the next one.
Oh my word!
Yeah. However, show must go on and all that.
I mean, but and then you get professional people getting up and singing, and lots of jazz guitarists with us, didn't we? Who's good.
Yes.
Especially some of them, like, they might not tell you that. They just start playing, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I get a few moments like that. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to be in our band?
And it's good because you get to meet other people, other musicians.
I was going to say, that's actually be a good way for other musicians to meet other musicians.
And the scene gets bigger, and you get, and it opens a few more doors.
People are always saying, I play, but I can never meet never meet anyone to play with.
Yeah, and a friend called Greg Taylor, who's reasonably well known in the scene, another Scot. He joined us, and that was great. We agreed a few songs in advance and worked a few chords out, or some of us worked a few chords out. Martin.
I tend not to do that.
Others
just see what happens.
Others just winged it, and that was good as well. It was good to work with Greg, a sort of like-minded individual.
What's the furthest away you've gigged so far then, as Redfish?
Harrogate
Blues Cafe. We get down there. Yeah,
that's good. That's a great night. But we do it in a night, so it's
do it in a one-er. Go down, play, and come back.
Do it in a one-er, so it's a long night.
Get back at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be done sometimes.
Yeah. Snoring and stuff in the way back,
We're looking more at festivals now, the blues festivals. We're trying to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're opening Carlisle Blues Festival this year at the end of the month.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
cool.
Nick Westgarth, who's a great promoter. Has ran the festival a number of years. Then there was a break. It was widely recognised as one of the best festivals in the country. Actually, it was very, very well organised, and the accommodation was sorted for people and everything, and they all came, and it was a great place to come. So Nick started it again. I think it was last year. It restarted. We had a short slot on the Saturday, but being promoted now. We're opening on the Friday.
Ah, right. So you played. There's a blues festival out west, isn't there? West Cumbria.
Maryport, yeah.
Maryport. We played that.
Well, we played Maryport a few times.
People say that's supposed to be really, as a blues festival, really good.
It's had its moments. Let's put it that way.
I've seen some big people. I've seen Jimmy Vaughan there.
Yeah, I saw some names that I recognise, and I'm not really into blues, but people that I've recognised.
It was big. It got really big for a while.
It did.
You sound like you've got an opinion on it.
Well, it went into, for various reasons, and it's nobody's fault, but it went into decline, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. However, what happened last year, because it was actually this year, last time this summer, it was called off effectively. But what happened, which was actually quite magical in its own way, was all the venues associated with it decided to carry on with their own version of it. And Maryport Live, they called it, and everyone had a great time, and they're going to do it again next year.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, the festival used to be divided into the main event and the trail. It was called. We've played various places in the trail in the past with the deluxe and so on. So all of those venues have now come together for this Maryport Live thing. So hopefully that will give it a whole new energy and impetus. The reports this year were really good. We weren't there this time, but we may be next time.
That's good to hear. I like stories like that.
Yeah. Well, no, it was good. It was the power of the
community, innit?
The West Coast, good for music.
Yeah,
I like music out
I
west.
I think so.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's
definitely.
always been that way, hasn't it? It's strange.
It's the Northbound Festival, which was Cockrock. They now do Northbound. They still call it Northbound, but they just do it in the street of Cockermouth, I think.
Yeah.
They did it this year and last year as well. I think Colt 45 last year. And I think it was Heartbreak Remedy this year.
Cockfest, as one of my friends alluded to.
I still can't believe, like, if there was like a list of names, Cockrock, that's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Yeah.
Rather than you might as well call it the full name, Cockermouth Rock Festival. It's a mouthful, but a mouthful. Hey.
Yeah.
But it's still better than Cockrock because people can go, you playing where? What goes on there?
Indeed.
But Northbound, that's a better name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still lives on, kind of. Have you played Soulfest as well?
No,
because that's quite a varied.
It is, and I was never really sure it would be the right thing for us. We're concentrating more on the more orthodox blues festivals.
Yeah,
you know.
What are other targets that you've got then you haven't done yet?
Well, one I'd really like to play next year would be the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival at Colne.
The Colne, yeah, it's still going.
At where, sorry?
Colne in Lancashire.
Okay,
right.
Yeah. It's a northern town, isn't it? It's bizarre in the middle.
Not
of
that
nowhere.
far away, is it?
No, and it's a big festival.
No, I mean the truth is there's one at Darlington this weekend. They're happening like all the time. There's a big circuit of this. It's just a matter of
getting your foot in the door, isn't it?
Well, not just that. It's about availability. It's about people's availability. You know, it's managing the diary is actually quite
5 of you. Did you say?
Quite a challenge, yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get everyone available. Cause
everyone's got their own interests, their own
jobs,
and so on and so on.
It's trying to. I know first hand of that one.
Balance, isn't it?
Because it's like there's only so much you can do when you've got life to live. If it was full time, it's a different story. But that's a struggle we all have.
Full time would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be if it paid. Yeah, if it paid properly.
Well, I'm hoping next year I'll be in a position to give it more attention, and hoping to take it to a whole new level next year after the spring. So
sounds positive.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Because it's time, isn't it? It's just having the time.
Yeah, absolutely. As you grow older, you realise that time is the one thing that you never get back. And it's the most precious commodity.
Because when you're younger, it's like, well, life is short. Everyone says, just go for it, so you're just going to go for it. But it gets to a certain point, you go, whoa, wait a minute, I'm just going to take a break here. And actually, I've got some stuff to do.
Absolutely, yeah. You know,
especially since it doesn't pay much or at all until you get to a certain level.
Yeah.
You've got to love it to do it.
There's no defined route to get to that level, and there's no guarantee you're going to get to that level. So it could all be for nothing at the end of the day. But which is why you have to love what you have to love it.
You do.
Yeah. Almost today, you have to say, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
I'll work it out so I can do it for free. Yeah. If we get some money, it's a bonus.
Got to love it.
Absolutely. No, you do have to love it, and that's why we do it.
And the way it is now, with the lack of sort of funds and like record labels don't really have anything to say or do anymore, but it's just the sign of the times, isn't it? It's just the way it's changed. But it weeds out. I think it weeds out the weaker musicians and the people who are not as committed, because you have to be pretty. You do have to be committed.
It's hard work being in a band. I think people don't realise it's hard work.
People don't realise. No.
But
a lot goes into it.
But it's fun, isn't it? That's why
it's a lot more DIY now. Yeah. You have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Like just to get picked up by a medium-sized independent label it's the independent labels that do more these days.
Yeah, well,
you have to work quite hard just to get on their radar these days.
Well, our label Lost Wasp Records, give it a shout out to them as well. They've been
Lost Wasp,
very very good, very cool logo they've got actually. So they're Dumfries based,
right?
But again, they were great in terms of getting the EP set up on all the platforms and so on.
Yeah. You know, but that's just as important these days.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing nowadays, of course, is the tools are actually. You're right. It is a lot more DIY, but the tools available to you are vast. You can spend your whole 24 hours a day on
doing your social media and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
You've just got to be clever with it, really. Yeah. I think less is more. Some people just put out. Eventually, if there's too much, because you're also competing with a million other bands doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
So you've got to be kind of
quality, isn't it?
Yeah, just don't put out for the sake of putting something out. If you've got something interesting or cool, put it out. People will take it. If you put too much out, they'll kind of switch off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the proper website, as opposed to your normal social media, has been a real move forward. But it took time and effort to get it all sorted.
Which is that's why you come in. You see, that's.
Well, I'm no good. I'm no good with IT, but I
someone has to be.
I can kind of coordinate stuff a wee bit, and
everyone has to work to their strengths, don't they?
Yeah, and I kind of probably.
Are you the band leader then, technically?
Well, in effect, I suppose, it was me that kind of put it together, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was your thing. It was your baby.
It was my thing originally.
Yeah.
But
one person's got to take control. Yeah. Really, you can't have everyone pushing in different directions.
Yeah. You need somebody.
And you all have to be on the same page as well.
Yeah. They're all very passive. I
just go with the flow. I'll do what they're told.
Yeah, the conversations and on the email and so on go along the lines of, right, I've done this. Has anyone got any problems with that? Silence. Okay, I'll assume that's fine.
Yeah.
Silence means a resounding yes to what I've just said.
That'll be me then, Rod.
If you've got nothing to say, it's a yes.
They assume that every single one of my questions is rhetorical, you see. I'm going to abandon the use of the question mark. It's just a waste of time. Yeah.
It's a statement rather than a question. But I was saying, you two are probably of the oldest we've had guests, and I was going to ask about how you listen.
I don't know how I feel about that, to be
not
honest.
by much.
Yeah.
But how you listen to music, is it different now than how you used to listen to music? Like, because I ask most people this about how is music something that you do in the background while you're doing something else? How often are you actually put a music on and you're just focusing on what you're listening to?
In the car.
Versus how you used to listen to it.
I do it in the car.
Yeah, I was going to say I do that as well.
Yeah, you've got some time.
But at home, generally, I don't put it on and just listen to it. I'm always doing something else.
I use headphones and listen to it and watch it on YouTube. That's what I do quite a lot.
But I just wonder how many people do that these days.
No.
Like, it's not. I don't think it's seen the same as it is. Like I used to when I was a teenager. I've said it before. Listen on my bed with headphones on to a whole album.
Yeah.
Just take it in.
No, you're right. Yeah.
How the artist intended it. I'm listening from beginning to end, and I'm analysing it. I'm reading the lyrics. Whereas now I feel a lot, especially young people, it's just a background thing.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
They'll still buy it sometimes.
Yeah.
And they like it. They may even go and see a band live. But generally, how they take it in isn't like it's not in the forefront anymore. I don't think.
I cook to it and I listen to it in the car.
There's nothing wrong with doing it like that anymore.
But you're right. I remember as a teenager sitting listening to it.
I used to go to sleep with my headphones on, listening to when I first got into the blues stuff.
Yeah.
And listen to it all night. And hoping it would.
Well, you would fall asleep and still
hoping it would seep in into my head.
Wake up and go, oh my God, I've written an album in my sleep.
And honestly, that's what I used to do, and I think it worked because you kind of get to know lots of different subconsciously taking it all in.
Well, they always say that people in comas can take stuff in. If people reading books to them,
your most receptive
they can remember it.
Is when you're just going off to sleep and it's just in your head.
Well, what do you do if you do come up with something? And how do you? What if you're not able to like play it and record it? What if you come up with an idea? Has that ever happened? Where you're like, oh, I need to remember that.
That happens all the time with me. That I have to record it on something on my phone. I have a phone to record something.
Yeah, I've got loads of stupid scats that don't make any sense. Sometimes I'll go back and listen to it. I go, I actually don't remember what that means. Or
you're very good at that, though, Martin. You do a lot more than I do in that sense. In that you record these little riffs and grooves and stuff. And then.
Well, I like creative. I like being creative. I like to make.
You might miss something because I've had it before where it might be the night before, or I might just before I go to bed. I'll go. I'll do it in the morning, and it's gone. Yeah. If you don't, it's gone. So which is why you just hit record on your phone and just whatever format it is, just record it.
Yeah. Well, there seems to be a time when you're half conscious that your brain just is able to do stuff and make connections.
Still working, isn't it? It's fascinating that.
It's in a different state, but you're right. If you don't get it down, you lose it. Absolutely.
I've dreamt riffs, and I've also dreamt ideas for songs, like concepts of songs that have led to things that have actually we've gone on an album. It's weird. I've woken up and gone, I've had a weird dream, but it's actually a good idea for a song. Or it's part of what I was working on that I was struggling with. And I think I've figured it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Our debut album is called Elected Evil. We had all the songs written. We couldn't come up with a title. I mean, I wrote all the lyrics, so it's usually my responsibility. And we just couldn't come up with anything that anyone would like. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll go with that. I was in the shower, and I had the radio on, and it was something about the referendum. It was a few years ago. And it's just Elected Evil just came into my head. I was just like, wow. I jumped out the shower. I put it in my phone. I was like, right, put it to the lads, and everyone went, yeah. Done. Within 2 days, it was confirmed. It's weird.
It's nice, isn't it, that way?
I've had this brilliant idea for the album. It's Elected Evil. Any comments? Silence.
That's a yes from everyone then.
Until you then go on and do it, and then somebody says,
I never liked that.
I never liked that. After it's too late. That's what happens.
Well, if no one's got an opinion, then you just got to go for it, haven't you? You can't hang around forever, can you?
I didn't agree to this.
That's the problem.
I can present you with the email when you were silent, and I can prove that you tacitly did agree to it. Yeah.
That's it. No one wants to commit because they've got evidence of them agreeing to something or not agreeing to something.
Yeah.
But
And what I think we need to do more of as well is, because we don't other than when we're playing, obviously we communicate in a kind of ad hoc way, but we don't get a chance just because of commitments to spend a lot of time as a group together, do we?
No.
And just talk about stuff.
I think it's very important as well.
Yeah.
Especially long term.
Yeah, and I'd like to be able to hang out a bit more in that sense.
We always found that going on tour is
that what you
good
say
for that.
nowadays?
Yeah.
Hang out, Martin.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's what young people say.
Is it?
Obviously, it's difficult with time, but we found that going on tour, booking a book of dates away from home, where you've all got to travel together, that's part of that as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still kind of work, though. But I know what you mean, like going out for a drink together or going for a meal.
Just do something social.
Talking. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
I think it's the same for most musicians these days. It's time, isn't it?
And of course, we span about 50 miles geographically.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did all this? How did it end up like this? We all.
Well, we all knew each other going back a number of years, and I mean, I've known Fraser a long time. I've known Brian a long. You know, they would. When we were in the Deluxe, they were on the periphery of that, weren't they? Sometimes we'd play some stuff together. There's a great pub in Dumfries called the Coach and Horses, which is a real kind of muso venue. It's dead, basic pub. It gets flooded by it's on the White Sands. It gets flooded by the River Nith quite frequently, but it's just stone floors. They just put the furniture upstairs, sweep it out, and it's ready to go again. So it's a well rehearsed routine, and. But they've got tons of live music, every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Sunday session would be running from about 3, and it was a place where we naturally it was almost like the blues jam thing, wasn't it, at times? And people would naturally kind of gravitate together, and then you'd go, "Oh, I liked what he did there," and then you would kind of form connections and so on.
Yeah.
And that's how all.
It's the kind of place where you play and there's people there.
That
far away from you,
right next to you.
Kind of a bit,
Yeah.
It can be a bit.
And
it's good.
And
it's
being a bassist, I'm always getting the cymbals, and crashing about my head.
Oh yeah, What bass do you play?
Well, mainly Fenders. I play both jazz and precision basses. I've got other basses, but I always kind of come back to those two. Really, it's the simplicity and reliability. And,
Can't argue with that, can you? What about you, guitar-wise?
Fenders all the way, Stratocasters for me, and I've got a Leslie speaker. I use my Leslie, like a rotating speaker.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's great.
So I've got a few of them, and one of them is like the size of a wardrobe. But
brilliant.
No, I can't do any gigs with stairs with that one.
Yeah.
So that's a wheeling. You literally, 2 people to carry it's massive.
Have you got a van?
I have a van, yeah. So
if you go away, you go use the van.
Well, we've got vans between us, haven't we? So,
I see. Right.
Sandy's got a big van as well.
Just vintage gear, really. I like the old valve amps and stuff.
Yeah.
And
what amp do you use?
Well, at the moment I've got a little orange, tiny Terror, and I like the TC cabinets. They're very portable, and you can configure them for the occasion, and and the I suppose what I've come to realise is that the bigger the gig, the less gear you kind of tend to have, because you've got a full PA there,
Yeah, the PA system's good.
And the challenge from nearly every sound man I've ever come across is keeping low stage volume.
Yeah. It's also the difference between what it sounds like front of house versus what it sounds like on stage, because I've had gigs where it sounds awful on stage, and I'm like,
yeah.
But then you finish and everyone goes, the sound was incredible.
That was great. Yeah.
Which is the most important thing, but it helps if you can hear.
Yeah.
And there's a terrible sadness in that you never really hear your own band, do you, in that sense,
Yeah, which is why when you do sound checks, obviously I'm wireless, so I go and listen. You can listen in that way, but there's no one there, so it's a different sound. But it'd be weird if you could float off stage and turn around and listen to what you sound like. You can hear the recordings of it, but it's still not.
Yeah, I know.
You're not experiencing what the fans are experiencing.
No, you're not.
So I like to feel, the legs, the hairs on my legs move.
Yeah.
With the volume.
Or if with the kick,
I'm just the way I am.
The kick drum is
I like to feel some movement of air.
Yeah.
So I need to crank everything up. So
yeah, I know what you mean. But hence you're always being told to turn down.
Yeah.
Well, we used to do sometimes if the venue was right, if the PA was good enough, and obviously you're going to get good sound through the monitors, to use your amps as your monitor as well. We used to sometimes turn them to the side and have them point in, so then you don't need to hear as much through your monitors because you've got your actual amps there. And it's easy. It makes sometimes it only worked in certain venues, but it makes it easier for the sound man because he's not got to cram as much through.
Yeah.
I also find that some people are a bit reluctant to tell the sound man exactly what they want or what's not sounding good. They just kind of say, "Yeah, it's fine," even when it's not. Which you're doing yourself.
It's just experience,
isn't it?
There. It's just experience, isn't it? I think.
Just
I think we know when it sounds right. No, when we play, we don't really sound it. We kind of know where the volume is and what it should be like.
We do.
Just turn it on.
It always surprises me how right it is from the beginning as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like
because of
the longer you do it, I think
you kind of know when it's right, don't you? When it's not
we
right.
did a gig, I think it was at Club Rock in Carlisle, where they didn't have the PA was knackered or something like that, so we just had to do it with our amps. And because that's how we rehearse, we don't really have a proper PA when we rehearsed. We just, me and Kev just knew exactly how to set it up. And then the guy was going, it's probably the best sound I've had in here, even without the PA. You just get used to it. You need to be able to handle any situation like that.
You do, and that's one of the big lessons I've learned about all of this. Is people will they get hung up on which gear will I bring, and just bring it all, because you never really know what you're going to encounter until you're there.
The band's quite dynamic though, isn't it? Because we often just drop things right down to like nothing, and
that's how you have to start, I think.
And then we can take it. You've got to have some dynamics in the band, haven't you, where you can kind of take it here and there.
And we always say generally you can't turn the drums up or down, so usually use the drums as a barometer.
That's my favourite thing about the band, actually, is the huge dynamic range that we incorporate within the music. That's my favourite bit.
Even though it's quite a stripped back sound as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes it goes it's on the
it can be pretty loud at some point.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? The frequencies can really.
But there's a challenge in that. It's like a trio. Like there's nothing to hide behind in a trio. You've got to be very good, because there's only three things there, and they're clearly all audible. Like there's not three guitars where you can hide behind it all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Where I think with your sound, obviously there's not real distortion to hide behind, so it's quite concise.
You're right, it is.
It's a tone thing, isn't it?
It's all about for me. It's all about the guitar tone. Martin, you've cracked it. The Leslie speaker and so on. It's just.
I think the bass,
amazing,
especially in blues. Well, the bass is quite. The drums and the bass getting it locked in.
Well, absolutely.
It's all the ingredients, I suppose.
It is. The whole R&B thing is. I'm far more focused on my right hand, my plucking hand, as it were, than my left one. It's all about the rhythm, and providing that. And Martin says Martin compliments me in a very odd way sometimes. He says, "It's great. I never hear you."
It's good if you never hear him, then you know it's there, but you don't notice it.
Sometimes in recordings on albums, it's the kind of thing where the bass is, you wouldn't notice it until it's taken away.
That's how it should be.
It depends on the song, I suppose.
But it's that sparsity, and when it goes right down to nothing, I love that, and then build it back up again. Best moment for me in the blues stuff that we do is always, it's been at nothing, it goes right up to maximum, and then it comes down with a crack on the drum to nothing again, and there's that round of applause, isn't there? Fantastic, love it.
Those are those little moments that you remember, you look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the blues audience are a bit like that. They're a bit like jazz audience in that sense. So they will applaud. So
they appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and they like to watch.
They do.
They watch.
Yeah, they intently
watch.
They're not standing there going, "Yeah, come
on." Remember once it was Bonus Bay Blues at Windermere. Remember?
Right.
And it was a good gig. It wasn't with Redfish. It was a good gig, but it was like a panel of judges. Remember?
All their arms folded.
Yes.
They watch. They like to watch.
They do.
Have you had much feedback, like reviews in magazines or websites and stuff from either your album or live?
We've had some great reviews from. We did Edinburgh Blues Club last year. Got a great review there.
We did, we supported a guy from New York, didn't we? What's his
Toronzo Cannon from.
We've got a really good review out of that one. That was good, actually. That was a good gig.
Was he not Chicago?
Chicago.
He was Chicago. Toronzo, great review. The albums. Sorry, the EP has received some great views in Blues in Britain and Blues Matters.
Mm.
So the kind of industry standards, if you like, So
Did you get some constructive feedback?
Good. Yeah.
Because I often find sometimes people ask you what it's like, but you just let other people decide what it's like. In reviews, you kind of, this review says that, this review says that. So then you kind of, because it's the other people's perception really, which what tells you what it's like, not yours, because you wrote it. So
yeah.
No, we've had some good reviews, haven't we, for that album and stuff. So
yeah, some great comments. I can try and capture them with people.
And it's nice because it's your own stuff as well. So it makes it all makes it worthwhile, doesn't it? So
I think playing live is the other proving ground as well. It's like there's no better compliment than someone if they've never seen you before. They'll come up and tell you that, but then they'll also buy your CD or your T-shirt or both.
Yeah.
Because that's their money. They don't have. They've got no obligation to come up and do that. Especially if you're playing somewhere away from home.
Yeah.
A stranger comes up to you, tells you that they liked it, and they buy your stuff. Then that's the ultimate sign that you're doing something right.
Yeah. No, I'm really pleased with the merchandise stuff because it was the great designs, and I thought they need to be out there. So they've been popular.
It's very important these days to have that side of things
under
control.
It is,
But again, that's where it's painful. It's painful being me sometimes.
There's the quote of the episode. It's painful being me.
It is a blues band after all.
Yeah.
Good song title.
You go right. We'll need to get the T-shirts sorted, right? And then you've got all this, because I'm not good with, JPEGs and the different
formats,
file formats, and so and someone will say, well, how what do you? I go, I don't know what you need. I just want it to work. Send the thing that'll work. To the graphic artist, he's pulling his hair out, going, "It's not the right format." I said, "Well, I don't know. Just send it."
I'm a bass player. I don't know.
How do I know?
I can only handle 4 strings. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But so I just have to keep pushing and saying, right, by Friday I have to put a deadline. By Friday we need the artwork with the, with the T-shirt people.
So remind people what the EP's called. What?
5x5.
And what does the artwork depict?
Same as that one.
We'll put a link to it anyway in the show notes. But just
it's one of the two. It's the winged skeleton design with some kind of fish-based
theme
going on underneath. Yeah.
So where did that concept come from?
Well, again, it's Neil Patterson. What he's very, again, you see, if you ask a bunch of people what they would like, they tend to be a bit hopeless, So what Neil does is he goes, well, how about this? How about that? So that's how these. So
did this come from a conversation with the singer who did the lyrics? Is he?
No. This is from the graphic, the graphic artist.
Because usually, if the singer's done the lyrics, he would have the idea for what the title of it should be or what it should look like. But did it not come from him then?
The title was.
The title came from him.
Was
right.
Yeah. The title was
Brian's,
Brian. Yeah, he came up with the title.
Did he have an idea what the cover should look like?
Well, no. Again, I see because we've been working with Neil for so long. He said we just go right. Can you show us some ideas? And then that works actually quite well.
So what did he give him? Did he give him the music? Did he give him the lyrics for him to come up with some designs?
We gave him the song titles, but again he based it on the existing designs that he'd come up with.
I just find it fascinating how different people work. Some graphic design. Let me listen to the music.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want it to be called, and this is what I'll come up with.
Well, Neil's ideas going back to like what's on the card that you've got in front of you and so on. Neil's ideas go back a long time, and that's our art. We own that artwork now. Those designs. So it was just he incorporates those in some shape or form into all the products. That's what he does now. So it's more a case of mixing and matching and evolving for specific projects like the EP. And then that works reasonably well, doesn't it? That's quite democratic. He sort of goes, well, here's 4 or 5 versions, and then Martin will go, well, I like number 2 best. And then you hone it down that way. And that works quite well.
Yeah.
Because again, if you just ask people, what do you want? It's never ending.
Well, if they don't know what they want, then what they're supposed to do.
And there's when you're dealing with a good graphic artist, you're dealing with an expert who knows
it all the time.
Who knows what works.
So did you ever have a conversation between yourselves saying, what is this about? What do we want it to be?
the whole band thing?
Yeah. Does the band have an
yeah.
input in it, or?
Yeah. Oh no, it's all we yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole vibe goes back to the original, the conversation we had at the very beginning, about the kind of New Orleansy stuff, the kind of a bit of voodoo stuff, and then the musical stuff is it's all the versions of blues, isn't it? It's Delta, it's Texas, it's
difficult
New Orleans.
In 5 songs as well. When you get to do your album, you get much more room to tell your full story then, don't you? And flex your muscles a bit more.
Yeah.
But then it gets to the point where, like, all the different titles of the songs, do you come up with a name of the album that's like, is there something that ties all
Like
the
a
songs
common
together,
theme.
or are they all completely random?
Yeah.
So then your artwork needs to be random. It's like, it's interesting when you get to that point of like, what are we trying to say here? What is this?
Yeah, well, Brian, the singer, he usually has a good idea of what he wants to call things. He's good that way. He puts an awful lot of effort into lyrics and stuff.
Yeah. Was it him who was going to be here today?
Yeah, poor Brian. Hello, Brian. Brian was,
Hi, Brian.
has not been.
Wish you were here.
Not been too good. So
okay.
Martin substituted. Very, very admirably.
Have you got any?
And helpfully.
Have you got any gigs coming up soon?
Well, the next. We're
Carlisle,
getting ready for the Carlisle
Carlisle.
Blues. Yeah. That's the 20.
So we wanted some new stuff in for that, some new material in for that, so we'll try and do
So we're
that
focused
before
on
then.
Yeah.
When's that?
Friday 28th
Right.
September.
And it's at the
It's at the
Crown and
Mitre
Crown and Mitre,
in
right,
Carlisle. And then something we did last year, Nick, the promoter, organizer, said, would you host the Blues Jam? Because it's like what we do, if you like, now. There's a Blues Jam at the end, after the main stage on the Saturday. And that's just completely potluck, so you get some of the real good artists, bigger names, will come and just join in. And that's great. That's great fun.
Good fun. Yeah.
So we did that last year. We're doing it again this year. So that'll be on a Saturday night. It'll be a late night, Martin. We'll need to get a nap in tea time or something.
Be fine. I'll be
I'll
fine.
Because that'll be about midnight. That'll kick off.
Right, kicks off at midnight. Right.
Yeah.
Take a late night blues jam.
Playing blues in the middle of the night. It's got to be done.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good fun. It's good fun. Great.
It's when your mind's more switched on. A few beers.
Yeah, great fun.
It is fun.
And then after that, I think we're getting ready for the Old Fire State, the OFS series.
Yeah. OFS. I love it. It's got a ring to it.
Yeah, OFS. Yeah. So we're back on with that in October.
So as far as like bass playing goes, do you come up with ideas? Say, I've got this bass line that we could use for a song, or are you normally just trying to add bass to stuff that's already been put together? Or
I'll usually have an idea of the kind of what we try and do is try what kind of rhythm, what kind of groove is it you're trying to create here. I mean, sometimes Martin will write the bass line.
I do. I have a bass at home, you see, so I do my bass lines.
Sometimes if you come up with riff, you almost hear what the bass could be, don't you?
Yeah, Martin sometimes will do that.
I actually like playing the bass. I think it's quite a cool instrument.
Yeah, it is.
I do. I quite like
I once did gigs when the guitar player left, the bass player left. Sorry, so we went down to one guitar. I was like, well, I'll play a bass. Yeah, and it was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought 4 strings, what could go wrong? Yeah. But singing and doing that at the same time, it's like, why can't I do this? Got there at the end, but
so it doesn't happen in one way. It's in all sorts of ways, and I'll sometimes have an idea of the kind of groove I want to put on it.
I've discovered Ableton Live, so I've been using that. Have you heard
what, sorry?
Ableton Live, which is the music software.
No.
For the last few years, and
what does that allow you to do?
You can record loops straight in live into it, and you can loop them straight away and sort of experiment with that idea.
That kind of opens things up a bit, doesn't it?
It's an interesting way of making music. It's quite interesting.
What I do though is I study good bass players, and I never stop doing it. And there's some great tutorials on YouTube as well, where you think, I hadn't thought of that, or I'll try that.
That's one thing we didn't have back in the day, was it? YouTube.
No, absolutely. no.
You have to buy a book and just look at stuff on a page.
There's all sorts of stuff on there that you never stop learning if you're open to it. You never get to a point, or I never get to a point where I think, I've mastered it now.
I don't. Nobody should. Nobody really should ever get to that point.
Shouldn't.
It's that thing where the more you learn, the less you know, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes and then
the
sometimes
the less you know about things. Like,
sometimes you have these horrible moments. You think, I've wasted my time for
What
2
have I been
years.
doing all this time?
I despise my own playing. Why didn't I see this before? You know, and then, yeah. But there's one or two really good guys on there who really concentrate on what the instrument's supposed to be doing, if you know what I mean, as opposed to all the slappers that you know, all that stuff.
That's a bass term.
Yeah.
Slapper.
Yeah. Or the videos of children with cold dead eyes playing very, very fancy riffs, you know.
There's it's incredible, the videos that you see of young people playing stuff, this really advanced stuff. You're like, how have you grasped that at such a young age?
High achievers, you see.
But there's a difference between a lot of those YouTube sensations that's just bedroom stuff, isn't it? You can do anything you want in your bedroom. But could that person then transition to do it in a stage? Could they write their own?
Yeah.
That's one of my things. I get so frustrated with bass reviews when you get somebody who's probably a guitarist playing a bass and
reviewing the instrument itself.
Yeah, you'll see it. You know, obviously, I'm a bit geeky about Fenders and so on. And
I can't watch them at all.
you know what I mean? And then they're doing a review, and you think,
you know why? Because they talk. They talk, and they don't do anything.
No.
For 15 minutes, and then they'll play something, and you think, I just want to see you do something.
Correct.
I can't deal with the talking bit of it.
But my complaint is they'll show you this stuff that's useless in any band setting. That's
they'll show some sort of show off kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And you think,
well, what good's that to anybody? You know what I mean?
It's more like the basics. Here's how you do a scale or something.
Yeah, just show me some basic.
Yeah, or a chord or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because you just want to get an idea of the tone and stuff, don't you? And what it sounds like in a, or strung as you would. You see, I always use either flat wound or tape wound strings.
Right.
They just lend themselves to the, you know, that kind of Jamerson kind of thumpy stuff, which is good in blues, and it gives you that separation, you know, because the kind of tonal palette that you know that Martin's using, you don't want it all just clashing, do you?
Yeah.
You know, and it's important to get that separation in the instruments and the different frequencies.
So is that part of the reason why it's been obviously 2.5 years before you put your first thing out, because you just sort of still figuring each other out and getting your sound and stuff?
Yeah, I think it is,
before you committed it to recording. It's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, Martin and I have played again for a fair number of years now together, so we kind of know each other. We know each other reasonably well, don't we? We know the little signals and stuff. So we're well tuned as a.
You're like a well-oiled machine now, gelled.
As a partnership.
The dynamic's good in the band. We've got lots of the dynamic of the band, and you know, if we don't play for a little bit, we play together and we do a gig together. It's just feels natural. There's no, you know, it feels good to play.
What do you do about rehearsing then, since you're so sporadic in your locations?
Yeah, we don't really rehearse that much.
I knew you were going to say that.
We don't really rehearse. We just turn up and play, and then we do the next gig. And
did you have to rehearse earlier though, but just because you were getting to know each other?
We did to get a set together. We rehearsed together, and then we took it from there. And the set was the starting point, wasn't it, for the songs and stuff? And
it was.
Because at some point,
we do have a good facility. Sandy's facility had been free. So
I don't like rehearsing. I'd rather play.
Well, I don't think anybody likes rehearsing, but I always find it's sometimes if you've been doing the same set for a while, you need to get together and go like, we need to change how this song goes to this song. We need to come up with an intro here. Sometimes you need to regroup and do that every once in a while. I think too.
And that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do.
No one likes rehearsing, especially going through the same songs over and over again. But
I like to jam and get ideas together and do things like that. But
for me, it's always like a perfectionist thing. It's like I keep messing that bit up, or we keep going wrong there. So let's keep going over that bit until we get it right.
Get the phrases.
And also coming up with a show, not just a band just playing songs. Actually, a show. Because when you get to the point where it's your gig and people are paying to see you, they want to see your show. They don't just want to see you going through your songs.
Yeah.
It's like
absolutely
all the transitions, talking in between songs. It's all part of it. And sometimes you need to get together to work that, because
No, you're absolutely
working
right.
out at a gig isn't ideal sometimes.
No,
you're absolutely right.
But you're so spread out, so it's like difficult.
We've rehearsed a bit lately, haven't we? We've had a few rehearsals,
especially with new material as well. I guess.
Yeah. And I'm the only one that seems to remember the keys for some reason.
Do you have a lot of key changes then?
There's not a lot of key changes, but
like different songs in different keys. I mean,
we have lots of. I can never remember what key we're in or whatever.
Lots of like retuning in between songs or changing instruments.
We tune to E flat for a start, so we tune down a half step.
Yeah, that's what we were.
which is, I don't know what it is, something about that. I don't know, something about being an E flat. I don't know what it is, but it's the tone.
I think ours came from, we always just E standard, but when the producer just said, just go down half a step, it'll sound better. It was better for my voice for one, and then it just sounded better. We didn't even try it, and then we've just stayed like that since. It's weird.
I think it allows you far greater bending.
You can put bigger strings on your guitar, you see, because you can use some better tone, but it's a strange tonal thing goes on when you do that.
Yeah. No, we do. And that, I mean, that is the potential for disaster as well when you're talking about the blues jams, because you need that. We will then do a concert pitch. The rest will be concert. Yeah. Because your worst nightmare is working with harp players trying to figure out, the right instrument that they need. Yeah. So you try and make it as easy. There's a lot of like Martin's saying, it's not all easy. There's a lot of practical stuff that you need to think through, because it is the recipe for complete disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially at 15 guitar players wanting to join play.
Well, that's just why I asked about rehearsing, because obviously with what you guys do, you've got to get it right. Yeah. But so the rehearsals are the jamming stuff. Getting ideas together.
I
don't mind rehearsing if it's been a while since you have rehearsed. And you get together and go through. But
we're not like an every week band at all. By no means.
So you've put an EP out of 5 songs. How many other songs have you got that you play live? Like, how long could you play with just your own songs?
Do you think? We play 35 songs the other night.
35 the other night.
You got 35 of your own songs.
Not of our own.
That's what I mean. How many of your own? How long could you play just playing your own material? Do you think?
Not long.
Past the EP.
I don't know, not very long. We kind of only have the 5 songs of our own songs at the moment.
We've got lots of bits. We've got lots of
like
bits.
Jams and stuff.
Yeah, and
we've got lots of stuff in various stages of development.
That stuff that could end up as being on your first album.
That's good. That's our big focus now, is to get some our own.
In a way, that's cool, because you're kind of writing it in front of an audience. You kind of gradually bits and bobs come together. That will end up on an album. Yeah. No, I like that concept.
That's right.
I think if you're writing, for me, if you're writing a song and you've done lots of gigs, you know what's going to go well. You kind of style you're looking for, or what tempo it needs to be, because you think, well, at that point of the night it needs to be this tempo, and then we build it and stuff. So playing live is how you kind of then know what to write. I think for me,
I think
what people would like.
But it's also cool to like get a song together, play it a few times, and then you sort of put it together show by show. It comes to life before you actually go and record it. I like that.
And you're testing reactions, aren't you?
Well, that's yeah. Especially if you've got people who followed you since you started, then they'll come and go, "Oh, I really like your new stuff." Yeah. That's like, all right. We're doing. It's like it's gonna be all right.
Occasionally, we'll just throw something completely new into one of the blues jams, won't we?
Yeah, and sometimes the first time you play a song is the best ever time you'll ever play it.
Sometimes
it's like that when there's that weird energy. It's like this is the first time you've done it.
Sometimes the sound check will be let's try this, and then we'll play it.
Oh, we've had it the other way though, where we've been playing it. It sounds good, but something not quite right, and then you just play it one time. Someone will change something. You go, that's it. That's the way to do it. Keep doing that. Remember that.
And then we forget it, don't we?
Yeah.
What did we do again?
But I like accidents that end up staying. No, that's part of it, really.
The whole thing it's organic, isn't it? You can't sort of machine manufacture it.
I've got a baritone guitar that I'm trying to get into.
All right.
Really cool.
Well, Martin will arrive with different instruments that he's found in skips and stuff.
Some of my best guitars are the ones I found in skips, I'll be honest with you. But a baritone guitar is this thing sounds phenomenal.
It does.
It's like it's tuned right down to like B flat or something like that. It's really deep. It's a Strat as well.
Something that could end up on an album.
Yeah,
well, it's trying to find its place.
You would write something around it because it just sounds so good.
Yeah.
As an instrument.
So when you recorded the EP, then were you constrained by time? Did you only have a certain amount of time to do it?
We had limited time, didn't we? We didn't have a lot of time. We just had to rehearse. We played through things once and then we recorded, didn't we? So that was it done.
Did you do click track?
No.
Oh wow!
And then we did about 2 or 3 takes.
I think I overdubbed one solo or something like that. In that.
So did you get the drums down first, sorted?
Drums and bass first.
And
then, if the guitar track was okay, we kept that. And then keyboards were done in one go, weren't they, really?
You're the first person we've had on who didn't do click track.
No.
Was it mentioned?
I think it was. We used a click track for the initial temp counting, and then that was it. We didn't use a click
Right.
track after that because it's the blues and it kind of has to ebb and flow.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind
I'm
of-
not really versed in that, so I
No,
wouldn't.
it's just sort of
Yeah.
build and speed up and slow down. That's kind of natural.
Yeah, because we had a tempo change at the end of a track, and we had to figure it out in the studio where he had to change the tempo of the track
Right.
to drop down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we had to just figure that out because we just done it.
Yeah.
We just like, oh, it just drops down to this, whatever this is. What BPM is it?
Yeah.
We don't know. So we
Yeah.
just played it. We played it. We know what the tempo
Yeah.
was to a point, and then he just worked out what it was. Oh, it's dropped down to this.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sandy did have a some sort of metronome, didn't he? And he would say that's about, we're about 120 there or whatever it was, and then
Yeah.
but we didn't have a click track per se. He would
That's
say
impressive.
He'd say that's about right.
Because I listened to the EP, and I assumed it was done to a click track.
Yeah. No.
So well done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm with Martin on that. It's rigidity is something that we want to keep away from, if you know what I mean. I don't. The last thing I would want would be for it to sound mechanical.
Yeah, you're more going for a more live sort of
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. And it
Interesting,
kind of builds
yeah.
and
And if you get a wee bit carried away with the moment, then so be it.
Get it recorded. It's all,
Yeah.
it's all part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So it was largely live. They were live performances
Yeah,
largely. Yeah. And then we'd do 2 or 3 takes and then just choose the best one and see.
Yeah.
you
I
know.
often think, imagine if you could spend a year in a studio. What could you come up with?
I know, back in the
Like
day,
Def
some of the big
Leppard or something like that.
artists
Like
spent Yeah,
years
pretty
and
much a
years
year.
in a studio, like trying to get an album
But to
together.
be fair, in those circumstances,
Mm.
they went in and wrote the songs
Yeah.
in the studio.
Mm.
So that's the songwriting and the pre-production is part of the whole process. They,
Yeah.
they haven't spent a year recording it, but that would be to have the freedom to do that, to just go,
That
okay,
must
what do you
be-
want to do?
Imagine what you could do if you had to.
Maybe it would be too much though.
Maybe
Maybe it
you'd
would
be
be too many
yeah,
options.
you
You
might
wouldn't be
think-
able to get anything done.
You might get blocked.
You'd be and then you'd be unpicking it all and
Yeah,
changing.
there's something to be said for what we've done, whereas it costs a lot of money. You've got this time to do it. You've got to go in. You've got to execute it, get it on,
and you're done. Yeah.
and you've got to get out.
Yeah.
Rather than you've got 6
Yeah.
months. What
Yeah.
should we do?
Yeah.
This.
5 months of wondering what to do, and then
There's kind of a
1 month
balance
panic.
there.
There is.
It'd be nice to try both to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what works and what doesn't work.
I also think there's quite a lot in being a bit disciplined with the band in the sense that
Yeah.
good. All the really good musicians I've worked with are disciplined in the sense that they know they've got an actual real job to do. People are paying for this or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't mess about. They come in, they deliver the goods.
Yeah.
Those are the people I like to work with. No.
Yeah. I was terrified of that because I've never done it before. I think it was 2013 we did our EP of like I knew what I was getting myself in for with the red light and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
click track and you've only got these amount of takes to do it. Didn't know whether I'd be able to do it, but I'm glad we did it because
Yes.
I didn't. Now I wouldn't want to work any other way. Now that I've
No.
got used to it,
Yeah.
like it gets the producer Matt. He got the best out of all of us.
Yes.
And we've been back to him 3 times, and he's
Yeah.
just got better every time and easier every time.
Yeah.
To more getting comfortable in that sort of
Yeah.
what's supposed to be a high pressure situation. Like the last time we went, it was probably the most fun we've had because we
Yes.
know he knows us, we know him, we know why we're there. We just get on
Yeah.
with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's quite
Can
enjoyable.
you do a shuffle?
Probably.
I think like a blues shuffle. Can you do a shuffle?
Texas shuffle.
A Texas shuffle. Can you do a Texas shuffle?
I think so.
It's a hard one to get right. The Texas
It is a
shuffle.
hard one to get right.
But just like, and then as you like when you do your album, you probably try a few different things that you haven't tried before. Maybe like a tempo change and key changes and
Yeah.
experiment a bit more. Obviously, before you go to the studio.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good to have, we're doing this album, so you set yourself a target of like, what do we want to do?
Yeah. You're right. You need targets. You need targets.
Especially if you're going to start playing some of them live before you go in, and maybe some of them are written a bit nearer, so you won't have as much time to sort of tweak them out.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what comes of it all.
Yeah.
So when do you think you might do your first album then?
Well, I would hope to get going in the new year, really.
Right. Having like a summer release next year or
I think
something.
the momentum's building now. The band. It's kind of we've
Yeah.
got to a point now where we kind of need to move on now, don't
Yeah,
we? And
I
do
thought that. Yeah,
you
and I
know.
think if you're going to do it early next year, it's good to do it before you start festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have it with you when you go to
Yeah.
festivals and stuff
Yeah.
because you can sell a lot of merch.
Yeah.
there.
Well, yeah.
And bookers want a band who's got something to promote. They don't just want a band who's just they released an album 2 years ago, but they're not doing much now. But why do they want to play here?
No,
Or why should we book them?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
There's a lot of bands are crowdfunding their own albums now, especially blues bands as well.
Yeah.
they're kind of moving into that idea, which is a nice
all different
idea.
types of artists do it these days.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, if some bands are forced into it, or if some bands choose to do it, think, oh, we'll just get the fans to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it can be done well if you have if you're offering your fans good stuff that they're going to lap up, that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. I've seen it work both ways. I've seen some bands they're just purely doing it because they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
They just want the fans to pay for it. But I've seen other bands do it. They've put a lot of thought into it, and the fans they've made it feel like we've made this with you guys. You guys, this wouldn't be made without you guys. So it's kind of a team, and the fans have got some awesome exclusive stuff out of it.
Yeah. And that's about mutual respect as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Like if you imagine if your favourite artist did that and you could get like signed stuff, or they do like private gigs for a certain amount of money, or you get like handwritten lyrics, or you get to go to the studio when they go and record it, or all sorts of stuff. I've seen bands come up with some amazing, because it gets you thinking. It's like, what could we do if we were going to do it? What could we give? What could we do rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it?
It's a good way of doing it, isn't it? If you do it right. I think Marillion did it, didn't they? Marillion do it.
I don't know.
And everybody had the name on the album cover.
Yeah, that's it. Fans get the name and the liner notes. Even just that, like for a fiver, get your name. Buy the CD and a fiver or whatever.
But they've got hardcore of fans, haven't they? They've got lots of really loyal fans. Yeah.
But if you have if your hardcore fan base is growing, then that's what they're going to want. Like, I want to be on the album. What to do? Too right.
We better do it before some of our fans expire.
I was going to ask about what is the demographic of your band or your genre.
Well,
do you get many young people, teenagers, coming to see you play?
We tend to the people that the youngsters tend to be the musicians, don't they? You know.
Yeah.
There's some great, really good young guitarists join us on the stage at the OFS. You know. But the in terms of our demographic, it's I don't know. Middle-aged,
denim,
double denim,
and leather.
But it's people that hark back to when live music was a real force.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, and I think that's why
they still appreciate it.
They do, and I honestly think Martin's blues community, joking aside, I think that's what we've given them. It's like
place to meet other like-minded people.
Yeah, but there's people that crave live music and remember where there was tons of live music, some real good venues in Carlisle and so on. And a lot of that has disappeared. Simon Cowell and Co have, done what they've done, and there's people that crave the real thing again.
There's still a market for it,
and that's what we've given them.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it does feel like all joking aside, it does feel like a community event, doesn't it? And they come and they meet their mates and they have a pint. And
it's because what's drawing people is because that's what it used to be like.
Yeah,
and that's what they've always wanted, but it's gone away. But you've kind of given them a taste of it back.
Yeah, my lovely wife Lorraine used to say to me, "I'm not sure if I like the idea of you going and playing in these places with all these young women." And snorted with laughter and said, "You need to see my."
You come and see my audience.
Demographic, dear. It'll be fine.
So have you got much on your YouTube channel? And have you got many live footage, or have you done a music video?
Not per se. There's
lots of footage from the fire station that we will get.
Does it get professionally filmed as well then, as well as recorded audio-wise?
It's I would call it high-end amateur. I suppose I would call it.
It's good to watch. It's good. It's watchable.
It's good stuff to watch.
So can you get your audio? Does it go into a mixing desk and you can get a recording of what you played? Is it?
We haven't done that. In fact, one of the ideas that we had for the album was exactly that. It was let's play a live gig, and do a professional.
Just take it off the desk.
Or you could do a live version of your EP and put that online with video as well.
Yeah. And we could do that at the fire station. I think.
We could. But the set upstairs could handle that easy. I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, Sandy, our drummer's he's a professional Southwest audio professional music sound man.
Well, always helps.
Yeah.
We're quite lucky there, aren't we? Really?
Yeah, we are. We are very lucky. So that's one of the things we may do, because it's all about it's all about the energy and the atmosphere and so on. So it might be that's the best way to do.
Live, it would be good to do.
We did discuss that, didn't we? we did discuss that.
Yeah.
Pack the place out, get it recorded.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get the atmosphere.
Because it's good to watch stuff like that as well, seeing an audience getting into it.
Yeah, absolutely. But in answer to your original question, there's tons of YouTube stuff now, isn't there? Tons of it.
Yeah.
Redfish.
Yeah.
Redfish.
With some guests.
With
They're quite
guests.
funny.
So your website is...
Oh, there's some great guests as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Oh, you got footage of like people joining you and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good because you might get some like random gems that are like,
we
we've
have
recorded that.
We have.
We have got some.
Do
real
you know what
one-offs.
what is it? Just Redfish on YouTube or?
It's Redfish OFS, I think. If you
Redfish
search for that,
OFS.
you might find
Yeah.
some things. Yeah.
Redfish
Our main biographer in the video sense is Cornelius Sparks. His channel.
Cornelius. Now there's a name.
Cornelius Sparks.
Cornelius Sparks. Yeah.
That's his site and his YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe to, he's got not just Redfish. He's got loads of great stuff on there.
We'll put a link to all that in the show notes.
Yeah.
So your website is what?
www.redfishband.co.uk, and then with the Facebook site, it's not on those cards. I need to get new ones done.
At Redfish Roots.
At Redfish Roots is Twitter. Yeah.
Cool.
We do a lot. I do a fair bit on Twitter actually. So there's always stuff on Twitter.
So do you want to play a song then? This will be a first.
I'll go and get my guitar. I'll play you some guitar, I think.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Just keep it rolling. It'll be fine.
Engineering nightmare.
Watch your headphones. So is he going to play guitar and you're going to sing?
No, he'll just do some guitar.
Okay.
I don't sing. You wouldn't want that.
I'm looking forward to this. This will be an actual first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Martin's the man, when it comes to the.
So do you do? Does he do backing vocals in your gigs as well then?
No, the backing vocals is Fraser the key.
Okay. Right.
Shall I just play here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sit down. Put the mic towards the guitar.
Is it? That sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Maybe if you're going to sing, lift the mic up a bit so you can.
I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to.
Okay. That's cool. Go for it.
Should we play?
Awesome. An actual first on Behind the Noise.
Yeah.
Is it all right? It sounds
The real deal.
Hope it came out alright.
Yeah.
It sounded good in my headphones and it sounded good without them. So. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you boys.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We'll put links to all your socials and your Spotify. We'll put links to the Spotify as well, so people check your stuff out and your EP. And when you get your album sorted next year, we'll have you back on.
Yeah, lovely.
We've upgraded the setup now, so we could have the whole band on.
Oh, right. That'd be good.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
But anyway, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.